I've stopped doing the fun, extra office stuff after I didn't like the way my boss handled something. Am I the a-hole? Original post. I guess background is important, and sorry it's long. My job performance is exceptional. I meet every necessary mark 100% of the time and have done so for the last 10 years. Maybe an odd month or two in there due to travel or other things that made it impossible. I've also stepped up and carried the load for coworkers when things have come up to ensure our area isn't dinged for performance issues. Clients get along well with me. I've never had a complaint filed against me, etc. You get the idea. I'm also known to do all the holiday decorating, coordinate gifts for office celebrations, bake desserts, write formal thank yous from our department, and make holiday baskets to help maintain positive relationships with the other agencies we work with. A couple of months back, there was a policy change, and none of us were happy about it. I made the best of a bad situation and adapted to the change immediately. My coworkers did as well, but they all called me to complain and vent. This is normal. We tend to complain among ourselves for one good venting session, and then just say it is what it is, and continue to work hard without complaining again. Here's where the issue is. While one of my coworkers was venting, my boss was eavesdropping, selectively hearing my side of the conversation since that's what he could hear. I was commiserating with them, but also pointing out how it wouldn't be that bad, that it's in our contract, and how we could make it fun or less obnoxious, etc. We hung up, and I didn't think about it further, especially since neither of us really said anything you wouldn't expect an employee to say about the kind of change they were making. It was pretty damn tame. I didn't think about it again until my boss called me in a few days later to do an employee evaluation in response to it. In every review I've had here, I've always hit exceeds expectations in nearly every category. He cut me down to meets expectations on everything. He reamed me for my attitude for not cutting my coworker off and letting them vent, telling me I should have told them to call him. He accused me of being negative or a negative influence and said that if he didn't nip it in the bud now, it could fester and create a toxic work environment. I was, and still am, pretty pissed about it. Coworkers should be allowed to vent to each other without it being treated like this. After this, as you may have guessed, I'm just not in the mood to head up everything extra I'd been doing to make the office environment fun. I keep my door closed when he's here. I didn't bring dessert for the March birthday lunch. That lunch isn't mandatory, but I didn't want more problems, so I went and just sat quietly the entire time. Now there's another appreciation week/month for one of the departments we work with, and there's been an email chain about cards and gifts. I've responded with the amount I'll contribute and asked who I should send it to. People are noticing I'm not picking this stuff up, and that chain has gone in a circle for days now, but I'm not budging. One person approached me about it, and I just said I don't have the time to take it on right now. I guess I'm feeling like all the things I did regularly to foster a positive work environment got thrown out or were never appreciated because I lent an ear to a coworker and then got viciously reprimanded for it. Like, what's the point? If 10 years of going out of my way gets thrown out just like that? Am I the a-hole for just quietly stepping out of all these extras due to how this was handled? Am I being overly petty? Now for the top comments before reading the updates. Not the a-hole, the boss. As the kids called it, fafoed. Venting is typically a positive and necessary thing, as long as it's handled appropriately, and it sounds as if you were that appropriate bottleneck and sounding board. He was extremely stupid to have not allowed you to explain the situation to him. Stand your ground. Just keep it light, sweet, and my workload is preventing me from keeping up with those extra tasks about it all. Thank you. I did try to explain it to him when he was marking me down. The real irony is he was sitting there calling me a potential negative toxic presence that was going to ruin team morale the day after I had just handed out handmade valentines to my other teammates. It never fails, does it? They're such idiots. Don't stress. This guy is obviously too dumb to get it. The beauty is, anyone with half a brain is going to know why you backed off on the extra little fun stuff, and no one will blame you. They'll blame him, and guess what? That's going to add up. You might not still be there to see the karmic avalanche, but it will catch up with him. Not the a-hole. You might want to start looking for a new job. Your boss seems to be the type to have the attitude the beatings will continue until morale improves. He may end up firing you to nip it in the bud, and set the other employees straight. Oh, that's the thing. I love this job. It's a good one and one of the few that still has a union. He wouldn't be able to terminate me unless I actually did something crazy or consistently not meet my matrix. Can you talk to your union representative about what happened here? I could, but I'm holding off unless he tries to take it further than this. My actual review is up in a few months, and if that goes like this again with how good my performance is, I will be. I'm sure you know the protocol better than I do. That said, is this something you should give your union rep a heads up about? This thing happened. I won't take it any further if I get my usual excellent review. But if I don't, maybe it's my people pleasing, but I kind of feel like they're busy and I don't want to bother them unless, maybe I should though. Now for the first update. I hope I'm updating correctly. So, a lot of people had asked for an update. I've waited a while after some movement or developments. There was an event that usually requires someone to head up the card, gift, and staff coordination things. I had told the team and my boss several weeks in advance that this event was pending and that I wouldn't be free. No one did anything until the day before, and then one of them called me to ask that I do all the legwork. I declined, citing that I just did not have the time, which was and is true. My higher-ups cornered me on this a few days later, stating that I've been pulling away, teamwork makes the dream work, etc., and citing this event as evidence. They also cited me being on my phone during unofficial mandatory fun times as further evidence of drawing back. I told them that I had given everyone, boss included, weeks of notice that the event was coming up and that I wouldn't be available to head it up. I pointed out that I'm still helping the team with tasks directly relevant to work, but with my current caseload, I just can't afford to allocate time to social or event planning right now. As for the mandatory fun, I reminded them that I often don't get lunch breaks due to community meetings that get held during those hours, and my having to flex out early on those days. So having to lose out on a good break on a day I don't have to is burning me out. They fumbled around for about 30 minutes trying to convince me, and I just held firm that with my current caseload, I don't have time to allocate to non-essentials. I was told I'm allowed to prioritize my breaks. I've been so busy, I haven't had a chance to attend the community meetings recently, and honestly, this might be another thing I end up cutting back on in the long run. Overall, it came across like they're panicked that I'm considering leaving. There was a comment about that concern, and I let them know I'm not planning on leaving, but I am taking time to restructure my priorities now that my caseload has increased. Second update. Annual performance evaluation is in, and it's just as dismal as the retaliatory one. I've declined signing it without discussion and have contacted my union. This feels like punitive retaliation. If they can't justify the decreases despite my consistent quality performance, I will be quiet quitting everything that's not a core job function, as continuing to do so will feel like chasing an unattainable metric. Now for the final update 6 months later. Union advised that technically the review is valid, as they're going by the letter of the set parameters, and the boss advised that since I meet my deadlines and quotas, it's valid. I've gone the route of quiet quitting, nothing outside the minimum to meet expectations, so my raises aren't impacted. I've called in sick on a few days when there was non-mandatory but unspoken mandatory fun. I've ceased community outreach so that I'm not missing my breaks. Coworkers are aware there was unjust retaliation. More changes have come that impact management. Boss is talking about taking a job with less of a commute. I know I'll be encouraged to apply for their position, and all I'm going to do when that happens is laugh. And this, ladies and gentlemen, is how you lose your best employee. If you're a manager, you don't need to do any leadership training or management course. Just read this post and do the opposite of what the management team did here. I have absolutely no idea why companies are so dead set on destroying themselves by treating their employees like dog crap. The world is littered with companies that were doing great until they needed to squeeze one more dollar out for their stock price, turning on their employees and treating them like disposable waste, and eventually hung a closed sign in the door. People don't quit jobs, they quit bosses. I know it is a cliche, but it is still astounding how your work experience can turn on a dime when a good boss is replaced by a bad or toxic boss. Next story. My son's boss came to my home and asked me to violate my son's boundary, and I refused. In July, my youngest son, 31, and I, 55 female, had a major disagreement. His ex-girlfriend's mom had stopped by my house the night before, and I let her in. We talked for a few hours. He told me I had no right to let her in my home and that he didn't want to speak to me ever again. He has since blocked my phone and cut me off from his 2 kids. While I do miss him and my grandkids, he expressed a boundary. He was clear, do not contact him. While I think his reasoning is BS, he did set a boundary. I believe, as his mom, I need to respect that boundary even though I do not agree with it. Last night, October 28th, his boss stopped by my house. He told me that my son is complaining every day that I have not reached out. I have known his boss most of my life. I babysat him and his sister when they were kids. I explained the situation and the fact that I do not currently have my son's phone number, as I hear he changed it. His boss told me I have to go to his house and knock on the door. I told his boss no, my son set a boundary. He is aware of my phone number and where I live. So, am I the a-hole for refusing to violate my son's boundary? Edit. I have 2 sons. Both are addicts. The oldest is in recovery and has been clean and sober for 8 years. This one is not sober. He is still in active addiction. Addicts are unpredictable and mostly not rational. I have done the respect the boundary routine with my oldest before he got sober. Being the loved one of an addict is painful for all. Your son sounds like a 31-year-old baby. He's a 31-year-old alcoholic. It's typical addict behavior, unfortunately. Until he gets sober, he is unreasonable. All I can do is better ready to help if or when he wants it and wait him out. Damn, that's level-headed of you. Not level-headed, just have an older son who was a 15-year active addict. Learned lots of hard lessons the wrong way for a long time. I am trying each day to be better at not enabling and respecting boundaries. Thank the universe every day my older son is 8 years in recovery. Your son is an adult. He wanted this, but now wants you to grovel so he can whine you out, and then either be okay again or get his closure. It is your life. You can decide what you want. You can act and reach out, or not. Just like this is his life, he can reach out if he wants or not. My husband and other son agree with you. He is whining to the boss, so the boss would blame me maybe. Not sure why complain to him, but I'm not groveling and I'm not breaking his set boundary. So I would say, given the circumstances, this is less of a my son's boss and more like a family-friend situation. I'm assuming this boss is in some way your son's friend given the history. So unlike others here, I don't think this a massive violation, but more of a minor one. He's trying to help out a family friend, not nosing into an employee's private business. That being said, you are not the a-hole by refusing to break the boundary that was set. If your son wants to fix things, he needs to make the first step. At the very least, he now will know this since you had the conversation with his boss, who will undoubtedly share the information with your son. OP, I can't imagine how exhausted you are by all of this. You probably needed the boundary more than he did, but how do you ask for one as a parent? Not the a-hole by any stretch. I'm sorry for you and I hope you find peace. And I hope your boy sobers up. Last story. Am I the a-hole for refusing to split the bill evenly on a group dinner when my friend ordered like it was his last meal? I'm 23 female, part of a close friend group that's been together since college. 5 of us, guys and girls, who try to catch up for dinners a couple of times a month. We're all in decent financial spots, but one friend, Jake, 26 male, has been going through a rough patch lately. He's been laid off from his job for about 6 months now, and while we've all chipped in for little things here and there, like covering his tab once or twice when he was short, we've never made a big deal out of it. I get it. Life sucks sometimes, and we're friends. Last weekend, we met up at this mid-range steakhouse we've gone to before. It's not cheap, but nothing crazy. Entrees around $30 to $40, drinks extra. Everyone else, me included, kept it reasonable. I got a ribeye with a side salad and 1 beer. Total for me was about $45 before tip. The other 3 guys did similarly. Maybe 1 or 2 cocktails, no big splurges. Jake, though, he went all out. Started with the calamari appetizer for the table, which he insisted on and we all shared, then a fancy loaded baked potato as his starter, the biggest porterhouse they had, like $55. 2 glasses of wine, a side of creamed spinach, and he even added a dessert flight. 3 mini desserts for $18. He was super upbeat about it, cracking jokes like, "Live a little, right? Who knows when I'll eat like this again?" We all laughed it off in the moment because, hey, if it made him feel better, cool. His bill probably hit $90 plus easily. When the check came, it was one of those auto-split apps where it divides everything evenly 5 ways. That put each of us at around $65, which would have been fine if everyone had ordered similarly. But with Jake's stuff factored in, it was pushing it for me. I'd already budgeted for a normal night out, and $65 meant dipping into savings I was trying to build for a house down payment. I quietly pulled up the itemized bill on my phone and suggested we just pay for what we ordered individually. Maybe Venmo Jake the difference later if he needed help. Jake got really quiet, then said something like, "Dude, come on, it's a group thing. Don't make it weird." The other guys looked uncomfortable and just paid up without saying much, not wanting to rock the boat. I ended up covering my exact amount and Venmo'd the restaurant the tip, but I didn't throw in for Jake's extras. Now Jake's not talking to me and texted the group chat calling me stingy and saying I ruined the vibe by making it about money when he was just trying to enjoy himself. The other friends are kind of siding with him passively, like, "It wasn't that big a deal, man." But I feel like if we're all adults, we should pay for what we choose, especially when someone's clearly ordering beyond what they can swing. I've helped him out before without question, loaned him $200 last month for groceries, no repayment asked, but this felt different, like he was banking on us subsidizing his feast. Am I the a-hole for not wanting to cover half of someone else's lobster-level order when I stuck to a burger budget? Not the a-hole. After decades of encountering stuff like this, I always ask for separate checks now. I only split the bill with a few close friends. I'm on a budget. The irony is my former friends that did this always made more money than I, and it was ridiculous. I would no longer go out or be friends with someone like Jake, and I would keep my eyes on the people that agree with him. I would spend less time with them. That's such a smart approach. Separate checks save so much awkwardness and drama, especially with people who like to take advantage. Not stingy, just self-respecting. He ordered like a CEO, he can pay like one. Friends don't let friends play victim over steak. OP, you should probably share the details of what you ordered and what the guy ordered with a total and ask him how is it fair for him to expect others to pay for his Royal Highness. Also tell him you were not stingy when you lent him the $200. Be petty. He's not worthy of your friendship. This is a discussion for before ordering. There's always someone that will take advantage of an equal split. I've learned my lesson, thank you.